Israel says it's ready to resume Gaza ceasefire negotiations with Hamas based on a U.S. proposal that includes the release of 11 captives. U.S. envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, has presented what he called a bridge proposal that would extend phase one of the agreement to mid-April, which he said would allow time to negotiate a permanent ceasefire. Israel has been calling for the extension, but Hamas wants to go ahead with talks on the implementation of the second phase of the ceasefire, as agreed in January. The Palestinian group has accused Israel of blackmail after it reinstated a total blockade on Gaza. Akiva Eldar is a political analyst. He's joining us live from Tel Aviv. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Eldar. So the U.S. envoy is now suggesting something called a bridge proposal. When you look at the proposals, the U.S. proposals since phase one ended, is there anything substantially different about them to you? They seem to just be different ways of proposing the same thing, which is an extension of phase one.
Yeah, and I believe that we are avoiding maybe a phase three, which is the day after. And I can say that I never believed that Hamas, and I also think that Netanyahu knows exactly what I'm going to say now, that the Hamas will keep holding hostages as long as Israel keeps saying that the day after the ceasefire, and after Israel will get back the last hostage, Israel will get back to Gaza. So the ceasefire is a kind of an interim situation that has nothing to offer to Hamas. And I think that there is some fog around Witkoff and Adam Borer's ideas, because we have to look at the Arab League proposal and the Egyptian formula, and I believe that there is a list of 15 professional, independent, that don't belong to either to Hamas or the Palestinian Authority, and the Americans and the Europeans who already adopted this formula know that we have to look at this comprehensive deal.
So you're talking about the Arab proposal. You're talking about the Arab proposal, which looks at Gaza beyond the war and looks at who will govern Gaza. But of course, Israel is refusing to even move on to phase two of the ceasefire, let alone to what will happen in Gaza after the war ends. What are the Israeli government's calculations right now in how to proceed with the ceasefire? And is it particularly vulnerable to pressure from the extreme right in its government, given it needs their support to pass the budget by the end of the month, or the government will collapse?
Well, Elizabeth, as you know, status quo is Netanyahu's middle name. This is what he does best, is to keep the reality, the situation, both in the West Bank, as you reminded us in your report before, that it doesn't look much better than in Gaza. So he would like to perpetuate the status quo, the situation, as long as the pressure, both from the White House and from the families, the member families of the captives, that's something that they can live with. Actually, his constituency is quite happy with the situation. They don't really care. They don't want to know what's happening in Gaza. But the last word is always the president of the White as the president of the United States.
And do you think that President Trump is putting any pressure on the Netanyahu government right now to move ahead with the ceasefire?
I don't see any pressure. I think that he's too busy now with the Ukraine and Russian peace process. And I believe that he looks at the peace process between the Ukraine and Russia as a potential venue to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. And, you know, President Trump is getting impatient quite quickly. And it seems that he and Witkoff just said on CNN that he is suggesting that Hamas will look at what the Americans are doing right now in Yemen, in the Houthis, and he's flexing muscles. I don't see him flexing muscles, and we know that Netanyahu is the one who refuses to move to phase two. And, it's been already 2 weeks since Israel was supposed to start moving towards phase two. So as long as they are flexing muscles but not really using their muscles, I think that Netanyahu is quite happy. And what he really needs is more time. He needs another 2 weeks. We are in the middle of March. He needs another 2 weeks to survive and to make sure that his coalition is still solid.
Mr. Eldar, thank you as always for your analysis. We appreciate it. Akiva Eldar in Tel Aviv.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.